In the previous episode of The Boys, Annie and Huey continue to not do anything important. Soldier Boy and Homelander fell out because Homelander was making nugget porn. And Sister Sage showed us there's a reason why everyone chose to vote for the giant orange racist and get the first black woman into the White House.
Oh, I'm gonna come.
So now that Homelander is basically unstoppable, it'll be interesting to see how they stop him, won't it? The episode opens with a bunch of black women twerking in front of the screen, just to remind everyone how much Kripke loves black people and hates black stereotypes. After this opening dance scene, which was actually kind of catchy, we see Homelander in the White House, and we see Homelander go on an unhinged rant about how much he hates nut milk and that it's not real milk. That's not a joke, that's a piece of dialogue that someone got paid to write.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was making you think nuts were milk.
The president guy that literally no one gives a shit about is afraid of Homelander, so he kills him, and after not appearing in the whole season so far, Marie and Jordan show up, and their first line of dialogue is Marie saying, "Hey, you know how that entire spin-off show specifically said I was Black Jesus and I could take on Homelander? Well, the writers have changed their mind actually, so no, I'm not as strong as Homelander anymore. Wow, what a fantastic use of 14 fucking hours of a spin-off show. I'm so happy I wasted my time for no reason whatsoever." They give Annie and MM some notes regarding Oh Father and what he's been doing, and then Annie says,
"What's our next move?"
Pack it up, you guys are done.
"I'm so glad this season decided to focus on a random prequel show nobody cares about over the literal spin-off characters that were set up to be in this whole season. Thanks, Kripke." We cut back to the boys in the school hideout, and we see Butcher and Frenchie experimenting on Kimiko using some uranium. How did Butcher manage to get the uranium, transport it here, and then set up a radiation-proof room with no equipment or resources to do so? The writers don't get paid enough. They wanted a uranium room in Butcher's hideout, so one just appeared from the ground. What, you expected one of the biggest shows on Amazon to have some decent writing? What are you, gay? It turns out that Butcher, Frenchie, and Sage are trying to give Kimiko the same radiation powers that Soldier Boy has so she can drain the V from Homelander's system. Now, you're probably thinking, Sage has had access to Soldier Boy for like a year now. Why hasn't she made her own soup who can use these radiation powers? And to that I say, why would she? I mean, come on guys, why would she do that, huh? Who do you think she is, the smartest person in the world? Kimiko tells Huey to stop being a beta male and get over it. Oh, fuck me, Huey's just so pathetic. Kimiko tells Huey to stop being a beta male and get over it, but Huey continues to whine and complain, and it turns out that sitting around doing nothing and just hoping that things would get better like Huey has done for the past 2 seasons at this point didn't actually help the situation. Wow, I'm shocked. Who could have seen this coming? I'm so glad they did so much with Huey.
Sarcasm!
You know, I gotta ask, everyone keeps saying this season that if Homelander gets the V1, he can't be killed because the virus won't work properly. But when Soldier Boy has been infected, he was forced unconscious for a few hours by the looks of things. Why can't the boys just use the virus on him, transport him to the uranium room they've just magically built, and then throw him in there? If the virus weakens him, and then the uranium weakens him even more, then surely by the time he finally escapes the room, the boys can just beat the shit out of him and he'll be so weak he might die? Am I crazy, or is this whole V1 plotline being hyped up the shit for no reason whatsoever? Butcher then gives another Spice Girls pep talk to remind the audience that the show used to be good for 1 season, and Homelander disbands the 7.
Let's be honest, there hasn't been 7 members of the 7 in quite some time. Bit of a running joke.
Wow, a meta joke that was actually funny? What, did a passing sea lion get into the writer's room or what? The Deep is upset that he has nothing outside the 7 to return to, and we then see an evil stage production being shot.
We could all be rich!
We don't want to be rich. We want to be free.
So Homelander, aka Trump, is getting these movies made, and one of Trump's subordinates is talking about how big corporations are bad. Did Kripke just say that Donald Trump is doing what he does not out of greed but for the love of his country?
Perhaps I treated you too harshly.
Get the formula wrong by even a fraction of Ram, Kimiko's deader than Epstein between guard shifts.
Wow, an Epstein joke. I didn't think you had it in you, Kripke, considering your allegiances. Sage whines on about how dumb love is, as it stopped her from seeing that her boyfriend, that had the words "I'm a supremacist" on his forehead, was secretly a supremacist this entire time, and that she didn't expect Soldier Boy to randomly become a simp.
Love is a logic error.
Fuck you, bitch! Shut the fuck up, bitch!
Butcher and Huey tried to kidnap Oh Father, but discover that there's a mind-reading Soup who is also there, and as they try to run away, the guy who can read minds also somehow teleports to the opposite side of the studio to block the door and knock them unconscious. 2 episodes left, and the show is still wasting my time trying to make me believe it would bother to kill these 2 people off before the finale. Deep is told by his shark friend that if he goes into the water, the sea creatures will kill him for the oil pipeline, and not to sound gay or anything, but I do kind of feel bad for Deep. You know, it's amazing how you can get people invested in a character if you actually write them with some effort instead of having them do 4 seasons of absolutely nothing. Ashley and her tumor head have a falling out, and like all women who don't get their way, the tumor head starts to give her the silent treatment, refusing to talk until Ashley admits that she's wrong.
Women.
Oh Father has a bunch of people in to screen watch a promo, where Donald Trump is told by Jesus to become the new god figure and to keep fighting the transgender illegals as he's too much of a pussy to keep fighting. Yes, this is an actual plot point and an actual scene that was shot to waste your time to make you think Donald Trump is Hitler. Let's move on. Soldier Boy meets Homelander, and he decides that he's gonna leave the US because it turns out making a narcissistic homicidal maniac who believes he's a god immortal wasn't the smartest thing to do in the world.
Oh no! Oh no!
It also turns out that telling Homelander that you're leaving him in person isn't actually a smart thing to do, with Soldier Boy getting the Chris Brown treatment. Butcher and Huey are tied up, and Butcher has to once again tell Huey to stop being a useless twat for about the 5th time this season. Frenchie talks to Kimiko and decides that he will have children and live a quiet life with her, because it wouldn't be a liberal Reddit show if it didn't have the man be wrong for his point of view on life and admitting the woman was right. Kimiko then has some sort of seizure, and then we see one of the biggest plot holes the show's ever done. You see, Sage here decides to throw some food away when she's previously been shown to eat literally everything she sees like a fat bitch. Frenchie tells Sage that love is actually a good thing, which makes her help him with Kimiko. That's it. That's all she needed. Terrific. One of the power dudes pretends to be Huey and learns Annie's location, and MM tells her that after his grandpa died, he managed to save the life of a pigeon, and that makes him a strong character. Writers, what the fuck are you smoking? What the fuck did I just hear? The entire show is wrapping up in about an hour and a half, and you're wasting time telling me how MM used to jerk off chickens. Get on with the fucking plot already. We then have to watch 2 animal-based soups sniffing each other's assholes and getting horny, so glad we're getting some top tier comedy. And Soldier Boy is now in the sleep chamber again. Homelander is informed of Huey and Butcher's capture, and then tells Oh Father to kill anyone at the screening that didn't believe he was God. Deep lets a man die because he's afraid of his sardine friends nibbling his feet, and one of the sidekicks gets into Butcher's head and transforms into Kessler, giving Huey a rundown of what Butcher did to him and learning the location of the school hideout. Oh Father and the sidekicks leave Dognot and She-Line with the non-believers and they begin killing them, but then Annie and MM arrive to save them. Well, some of them. Despite being right next to them before, they didn't bother to show up to save them until like 7 people were already killed, so terrific work once again, you guys.
Good job.
Despite being fast enough to dodge bullets, She-Line somehow loses her fight with MM. Dognot gets fried by Annie, and MM now suddenly has his OCD back, meaning he now has 1 character trait before the season ends. The shapeshifter Soup comes back to kill Huey and Butcher, but Huey reminds him of how his own brother died, giving Butcher the time to escape and kill him. You're probably thinking, wow, why didn't Butcher just do this instantly? And apparently if this guy's in your head, it makes you retarded, so Butcher couldn't use his powers. Why doesn't he make him retarded again when Huey is straight up telling him, I'm distracting you so Butcher can escape? Well, the plot needs him not to, so he doesn't, and then he dies. Annie and MM have just driven away to save the hostages, not worried about Huey and Butcher at all because they read the script and know they're okay. Annie recruits Marie and Jordan again, and Sage helps to make Kimiko have the radiation weapon. It turns out that Homelander is flying towards them, and after hiding Sage and Kimiko, Frenchie decides to use himself as bait, telling Homelander how they recreated the Soldier Boy experiment, forcing Homelander to flee as Frenchie slowly bleeds out from being punched. He has a heart-to-heart with Kimiko, and as Butcher and Huey arrive back, Frenchie dies in her arms. This is a character that I've been following for 7 years at this point, and you know what I felt in this scene? Nothing. I didn't hate it, I don't think it was that bad of a death scene or anything, just Kripke has spent so little time making this a memorable character over the past 3 years besides him loving Kimiko and doing science stuff that I genuinely don't care that he died. So what did we get this episode? We got a bunch of references from the early seasons to remind us that these people used to be characters at some point. We learned that an entire spin-off show was absolutely pointless in every way possible. The best remaining character in the show was ruined by becoming a simp and then immediately discarded afterwards. Huey learns that a man who left all of his friends to be tortured and killed is the type of man who leaves his friends to be tortured and killed. And we learn that Twilight somehow had the superior love story. Check back next week for the worst season finale of a show since Game of Thrones Season 8. Thanks for watching, lads and lasses. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking, subscribing and checking out some of my other videos. Sharing always helps, and if you're feeling really generous, please consider my Patreon or YouTube membership. But most of all, I just hope you had a great day, and hopefully I will see you in the next video.